Welcome to Caught Black and Red Handed, Episode 1. Today we're going to be talking about some Iowa cold cases. I'm Avery.
I'm Natalie.
I'm Allie.
I'm Kavya.
George Andrew Nemo was found dead in Dexter, Iowa on Sunday, August 28th, 2011.
Tina Harmon was found dead in Marion, Iowa.
Ashley Oakland was killed in a model townhouse in West Des Moines on April 8th, 2011.
Vigil Paul Untied, age 33, was found outside of Shaw grocery store on July 23rd, 1931.
Interesting enough, my person was actually from Adel, Iowa, and they were found at Beaver Lake Campground, which is pretty, local.
I've been there.
That's crazy. And yeah, there was really, what was interesting was that there was a witness, and they knew they had the description, and it was a female, and they saw the tire tracks up and down, and so it turned out that George was basically thrown into a car, and they attempted to drive recklessly and get him thrown out of the car. Yeah.
Intentionally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was tire tracks in the ditch and everywhere along the street, and then they eventually got him out of the car and started running over him back and forth. And then the witnesses said that it was a woman, but then
A woman driving the car?
Yeah,
okay.
And it was a woman, but then they never got a call at all, 911, no authorities were informed, and they found witnesses later, but they wouldn't give a description. They just
covering
pled the
up
fifth
for this girl.
Yeah.
I feel there might be something going on with the girl and the witnesses. The girl might have I don't know, threatened them.
Yeah, I know.
In a sense.
Or if it's a super small town, maybe they knew her. And
Yeah.
keep her
Cover
safe
it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they heard her speaking to him, and she was by God, that mother effer better be dead, and she was screaming at him. So there's definitely some
motive or something.
motive.
I feel
Wait, how old was he?
He was I don't remember exactly what age he was. He was in his 40s maybe.
Oh, okay.
And he had a son and a family and stuff too. So that's
I wonder what the relation between him and this random lady
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And he was actually wasn't found dead there. He was found unresponsive, and then he died 2 days later at medical center. So
Where was he transported to?
I don't know exactly, but yeah. So, and they also had this famous forensic pathologist who's on Dateline and other crime shows, and he said that there was definitely foul play and
Wow.
yeah.
That's insane that this much happened and yet the person did not get
But,
caught.
Yeah.
The witnesses didn't say anything until later, because how did they find out what the woman was saying in the car? Did they finally
They asked them, but they
Okay.
had no description of her at
Oh,
all.
okay.
So then they never found
So
her.
they had to kind of get every information out of the witnesses.
Mhm.
That's insane that they watched this lady run over this man repeatedly and nobody was
And,
I should probably
no
call.
description of the vehicle,
Yeah.
anything.
I feel there definitely was something else involved, but they were trying to protect her or near her. So.
Yeah.
I feel there's some minor thing that must have happened.
Yeah. I don't know. Crazy.
Okay, well, Tina, she was born June 9th in 1969, but she died in October 29th, 1981. She was only 12. Yeah, she was little. She was last seen riding her bike near her home, and then she just didn't come home. She had been abducted, right off of her bike. And there was no, witnesses who saw the car, saw, the man who kidnapped her, anything. And for a really long time, it was just, a cold case, no one was ever charged. They had a couple suspects, but, nobody had ever been, actually, charged with anything. And for a while, they couldn't find any remains of her. And they looked, everywhere for her. They looked for her, in the towns around. They looked for her in rivers, the woods, and they just couldn't find her.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, it's a small town. It's, a similar size to, Iowa. Similar size town to Adel, and it's in Iowa.
Okay.
So it's, pretty local. But they just couldn't find her anywhere. And they did a DNA analysis, too, hoping to find leads, and they couldn't find anything.
Really?
Yes. But it was solved in 2010, so a really long time after. And her body was found, and they arrested a mass murderer. He had been he was a serial killer.
Yes. Wait, who was it?
Where's his name? Robert. Robert Buen. But he was a murderer in Ohio, and he had like
Wow.
he had
Like traveling.
yeah. Like he was arrested for an 11-year-old murder in Ohio, and he killed her in 1984, and then he was arrested 3 years later. And then by the time like he would have been charged for Tina's death, like he was already dead. So like she never got like justice either.
She never got justice.
No.
Where did they find her body?
It didn't say there was not a lot of information about where they like took her after like to do the autopsies. Like there wasn't any information about like where she was found. It just said that like she was murdered in Ohio. Like she had officially died in Ohio, and when
So she was like carried to a different state.
Yeah, and she was
abducted.
It says that it was abducted, raped, and then murdered.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Kidnapped
took
her
her
kid?
to Ohio and then killed her there.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh my gosh! And none of the police like caught on.
I guess
the
not
highway.
not soon enough. But
Because I bet they were
It's
looking
just, like-
in a small town first. Like no one probably figured
Right,
that
like
she was
a
moved
small
to
town,
Ohio.
like
They probably
connection,
didn't.
yeah.
and it said like they looked like for her like in nearby towns, so I don't think they would have thought, oh, she's getting taken to a different
Right,
state.
like you always
Yes.
start locally, like
Right.
Yeah.
and that like takes a while, so like searching, but yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, well, Ashley Oakland was born in Ames, Iowa on December 30th, 1983. She grew up in Huxley, where she attended Ballard High School. And when she was 27 years old, she was on the rise in her real estate career when she was shot inside of a model townhouse in West Des Moines. She was super young, obviously, and definitely, like, getting really big. So some people think that there was some sort of motive behind, like, the
Like a jealousy.
competitiveness type of thing. But one of the employees of Rotland Homes, the company that built the property she was showing, claimed to have heard some sort of commotion, and then when they went to check on the property that Ashley was in, they found her lying on the floor after she'd been shot, and they called 911. She'd been shot twice, I think, and then she died in the hospital. The Iowa Realty chief told everyone about what had happened, and then they shut down all business for 2 weekends, I think, and canceled all the showings and stuff because it was kind of a crazy thing to happen in small town Iowa. And then they had no leads or no idea of who the killer was because I think there wasn't a weapon. She'd been shot with a gun, but there was no weapon there.
Left, yeah.
Yeah, they left, and then but the police believed that the killing wasn't random. They thought there had to have been some motive behind it because of her becoming really popular in the real estate world. So they thought there was definitely some type of motive. There was a ton of phone calls to the Crime Stoppers tip line, and they reported the same 2 or 3 people and cars that were outside of the building, but there was
Like no leads really, yeah.
there was no leads really. And then eventually some police spokesman came out and said they had over 600 leads and had talked to over 400 people and had 200 of the Crime Stopper phone call tips, but they still could not find a suspect.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of information.
Right.
After so much.
They talked to so many people and still couldn't find anything. And you would think that there'd be cameras or something in the
yeah,
model home.
it was,
right?
interesting
Especially
about
showing a house
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
How do you not have a list of who you're showing the house to?
Right,
Or some sort of
exactly.
yeah,
lineup.
I think it was an open house maybe.
Yeah.
Where you walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
There's no
probably-
information about you.
Right, and so I think it was just this model townhouse that she was there to answer questions for people that were coming
Just,
in and out.
waiting, yeah.
Right, and then she just got shot literally in cold blood, and
That's
there was absolutely no leads. But then it's still not completely solved, but now recently, I think it was a few months ago, so 15 years later, an arrest was made. Kristen Ramsey is 53, and she was arrested and is being held in lieu of $2 million cash bail.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
When Ashley was killed, this girl that got arrested worked as an administrative assistant and sales manager for the company that built the house she was showing. So that same Rotland Homes company that heard the commotion, she worked for them. And then she also was an employee at the Midland Title and Escrow, which is an organization that was a part of Ashley's organization.
So,
it was
the connections,
yeah, there was definitely connections between them.
And she could have known her schedule when she was
Right.
working and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
especially if this Kristen girl had employees that were building the home Ashley was showing, she definitely knew when she would be there probably. The police didn't really say what led to this girl's arrest. They haven't said why she did it. Yeah,
what piece of evidence
Right.
kind of tipped it over?
Yeah, or why they think this Kristen girl would have killed her. People don't really know. And a lot of people were really shocked by her arrest because this girl's like a grandma. Like she's been going on vacations with her grandkids and
Like living
working.
a
She's
normal life.
been
That's
working
crazy.
completely normally for the last 15 years. So people are really confused as to why this lady was arrested. But yeah, basically, it's not completely solved yet, and they haven't come out and said that she's guilty, but she's in court and going through that stuff.
That's wild.
And the police and prosecutors declined discussing the details for some reason, which is kind of weird. Like people asked, obviously, like journalists and stuff, were like, why did you arrest this woman? What happened? Like, what was the motive? And they just declined discussing any of it.
Really?
Which is kind of weird. So I don't know.
I'm sure more information will like come out as like the case, you know,
Yeah.
like in court and stuff. But that just like takes forever. Like it
I
probably
know.
won't come out for like a
years.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
On TikTok, I think there were some rumors about like relations between like this Kristen girl and Ashley or something. Like the Kristen Ramsey girl was like liked her or something. And she was like, I don't know, just weird stuff like that where she was jealous. I don't know. It was there's a lot of rumors and stuff obviously about why she would have done that, but yeah, I guess we're just gonna wait and see if she's proven guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. So my person, he's Vigil. So Vigil was shot 5 times by 3 different people, and basically he was summoned to the Shaw grocery store at 3 a.m. for a burglary that was happening, and he was the town marshal, so like he was kind of like the he was the police basically. So he and 2 other of his guys came up to the crime scene, and they were trying to locate like 3 trio of hostages that the robbers had taken. So then but the robbers opened fires as soon as they came into the store. And as Marshall crossed to the railroad, he got shot because it was like a full-on like cinematic movie type where like there's shots coming from both ways. Like 2 of his guys were returning shots, and he was trying to like get to the Shaw grocery store, and he tried to go, but he got shot 5 times, and then he collapsed outside of the Shaw grocery store, and he was transported to the Perry Hospital where he died 2 days later. But the more like interesting fact is that they knew that there were more than 10 shots that were exchanged in like between both of the robbers and them, and the basically all like the people who hit them, they hit them like hit Vigil like in the eye through and like hit him in the brain. And he still survived for like 2 days. So like he was in great pain. And so then they like, just because like his guys were more persistent on taking him to the hospital than getting the robbers in jail, they transported him to the hospital in Perry, where he died. The state patrol also joined the manhunt after they got to know what happened in Minburn 4 days later. So they had this whole stretch from Minburn, Iowa to like all the way Ames. It was like this whole 35-mile stretch that they had, actually to Des Moines. And they actually almost caught them. Like there was a whole second like cinematic like movie shooting back and forth type like from their car.
So they never found any of the robbers at all.
So then once the second like shooting took place, it was between Grimes and Johnston. But the shooting was so heavy, like they had these like really advanced machine guns and everything, and they were like shooting right back at
So
the
they were like
police.
prepared?
They were professionals is the thing, and they were like shooting back and forth, and the police just could not get a hold of them, and then they ran away. And now to this day this case has not been solved, and the guys would probably be most likely dead based on like how old they
Dang,
That's crazy.
I know.
And like they never got arrested for anything else.
They did not. Like they don't even know who to like even like call as like a witness or like who to actually like interview or get like a suspect.
Right.
Some people have machine guns and like committing all these crimes and they haven't been caught for any of them.
Right.
I know.
And also, I feel like a lot of times these robbers, that wasn't their first time or whatever.
Right.
So it's like if they would have gotten arrested for another time, they did something similar, but they haven't.
Yes, I know. And like
I think grocery store not have cameras.
I know.
I know, that's like the
Exactly.
thing about a lot of these is that it's like they're like older, so they don't have
Right.
like technology
Yes.
to like track people's like
Like if that would have happened today, they probably would have thought.
right.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully.
Like cameras.
Like a lot of
and,
these things, like houses have Ring cameras that like,
Yeah.
anyone like
Can see through.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this one was so like insane to like even read about because like this guy, he got shot. He had 2 other men with him, so he had the witnesses that could have seen the people's face, yet they didn't. And they had a second encounter where like
How
literally
did you not see that?
the state patrol, and like it was so big that the state patrol and literally every form of the like law enforcement was at that scene, and it was like a full cinematic like shooting type, and yet they ran away.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's really interesting.
I know.
Well, thank you for listening to episode 1 of Caught Black and Red Handed.